Have you been manifesting incorrectly? Well, I'm going to answer for you. Yes, you have. Also, no, you haven't. Why? Why? Yes, you have. Why? No, you haven't. Okay, I'll give you proof. Have you manifested everything that you ever wanted to manifest? If you have, then I must be speaking to you on the other side. And also, have you ever manifested anything? Well, if you haven't, then I must be speaking to you on the other side too. You see, how we are manifesting, we're doing it the correct way, and how we are not manifesting, then we're manifesting incorrectly. So in this video, I am going to share with you how you can make those corrections so that you are manifesting. And oh my gosh, when I tell you, when you get this, life changes like that, because that's what manifestation is. It is instant. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome to the Charmed Life podcast. This podcast is all about magic, metaphysics, mysticism, and the unconditional love of the universe. And I am your host. My name is Tricia Carr. Welcome to this episode. It's so nice to be here with you. This is a live streamed episode on YouTube and a few other places. So those of you who are here live, you can just say hello and drop a comment, ask a question, tell me how manifestation has been going for you lately. And also, if you're here live or if you're watching the replay on video, then you'll see my little birdie here. My little bird is sitting she's actually sitting on my microphone for those of you who are just listening and not watching. Her name is Aliel. And she wants to give me a kiss right now. Aliel. It's like Ariel, but it's with Aliel. So Ali, should we tell a story about you and your name later? I think we will. So as we head into this, I just want to say thank you so much for being here on the YouTube channel or the podcast. And we're growing and growing. And if you want to leave a comment or shoot a message to me from my website or anything at all to let me know how I can support and serve you, I would just love that. But let's get down into manifestation. And, I made a video, or I think it was like a reel or something a little while ago, that was saying, like, is manifestation even cool anymore? Are people still talking about manifestation? Well, I think we all are. And I'm going to talk about it in some ways that will really help to correct your frequency in any ways that you are not manifesting at your absolute highest benefit, most profitable, prosperous, full of love and ease and joy and grace and excitement, and all on your purpose work. So let's get into it. I see we have quite a few people here, so please tell me hello. If you want to just say hi, or you want to tell me where you're coming in on, where you are, or if you have any questions or comments about manifestation. Little girl, I'm talking to my bird. Can you sit on my shoulder? Thank you. So let's talk about it. Now, I'm going to recommend to you right off the bat Neville Goddard. And probably a lot of you have actually read Neville Goddard. And if it's been a while, it's time to get back into it. There are two books that right now are rocking my world. And I got to tell you, it's so funny. Teachers, meaning like whether they have books or they're past or present, they're here with us, incarnated or not, it's like they start to stalk me. I might start to read something and then three other people talk about it, or the other way around, three people talk about it and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't read or watched that in a while. And Neville is one of those. So the two books that I would love to recommend to you are At Your Command and Awakened Imagination. And of course, the super seminal, famous work, Feeling is the Secret. So let's talk about how we do manifestation incorrectly. How we do manifestation incorrectly is that we are paying too much to the conditions. We're paying too much attention to the conditions. Now, that it seems like it is a bit tricky to not pay attention to the conditions, because manifestation really leads us to go, but it is about conditions. To manifest means to bring something from potential to actual. And that's the deal, right? I want the actual things. And what Neville shows us is that we have a bad habit of doing things in the wrong order, the reverse order. And the reverse order would be we want to have something so that we can do something, so that we can be something or feel something. And it's the other way around. It goes be, do, have. So we have to start with the being. And in fact, it really makes all the sense in the world. If you think about it, as I said, manifestation is taking something from potential to actual. Potential means it is the energy of it. So that is how we manifest. We have to be in the energy of it. We have to be in the desire frequency of it, and the desire as if it's fulfilled. That is the only way we're actually connecting with the desire of it. Now, here's the other thing, is that we think that our desires are conditions. We think that our desires are, like, for example, when women say, what's my life purpose? We sometimes people will ask that of psychics, and they're hoping or expecting the psychic will be, your life purpose is to be a Reiki healer. Excuse me, my voice failed on me. A Reiki healer, or even something like your purpose is to be a mother. Now, here's the thing. I used the spirits telling me the reason we used mother is for a good reason, because of course there is so much purpose frequency within being a mother. But you see, being a mother is not the conditions of even having children, because aren't there people who have children and that the purpose of how they are experiencing motherhood and being a mother, it may not be fulfilling for them. And if you were to, like, if you just imagined that you were in their shoes, it wouldn't be the way that you would be mother. And I'm not trying to get us into judgment or like shaming anyone, but it's a good thing to use as a way to compare what the difference is between the desire and the being state, the desire state of it, and it being fulfilled, and the actual condition of it. And Alana is saying hello. Hi, Alana. Good morning from Australia. Having breakfast with me. Thanks for being here, Alana. So nice to see you. Yes, I haven't been going live as much lately. I just had about 6 weeks of, you know how you do. You have some deep reset. I was also very, very busy with a certain project. And then I was doing some deep reset and getting on my manifestation in a whole new way. So think about this. Let's get back to that manifestation frequency. If you want to feel into that right now, manifestation is taking something from the potential to the actual. We have to take it from the potential, meaning the energetic state, all the way through the energetic state. So in the energy state of your desire, you have to take it all the way through in that form to manifest it. So I know maybe it's getting a little confusing, but think of manifestation just for the sake of this attunement. Think of it as 2 steps. It is the energy, and then it is the actuality. I mean, it's physical. It's the energy and then the physical. So we actually have to manifest it fully in the energy before we can manifest it into that next level, which is when it is physical. Manifesting it in the energy is to feel the desire, feel it more, feel it as though it is now and here, and feel it all the way through to its full manifested form, its fulfillment. Now, here's the thing, again, to keep it to where we can actually find the being state, is that your desires are not the product of your desires. So, for example, to reiterate the example, being a mother is not having children. That is a condition of motherhood. Because I don't have children, I mean, I have animals, and even if or when I don't have animals, and when I say when, because I mean, when I'm out in the world and I'm not actually with my animals, I still am holding the being state of motherhood. And even though I don't have human children, I still have an aspect of my being that is fulfilled as mother. It's just a part of who I am. As it is a part, and also, regardless of your gender, motherhood is a part of something that is likely a desire for you to have fulfilled. And interestingly, I've had many students and clients, even if it's not age appropriate, in the real world, they'll say like, you have such a nurturing presence. You're like a mother to me sometimes. And so you see how the conditions don't agree with that, because I'm not actually literally physically this person's mother. Sometimes it's not even age appropriate. Maybe they're older than me or just too close in age to me. And yet there is the resonance between us where I am fulfilling the state of mother. And it is still not the condition of someone telling me you're like a mother to me. That is the fulfillment of the desire for me as a mother. So you see, being a mother, if that is one of your desires and a part of your purpose, is not even the fact that you have children. Now, being a healer, that might be like, oh, that's my purpose work. You see, this is why the word like purpose work, it means you have a purpose and then there's work that happens from it. Your purpose and your desires that make up the multifaceted, ever growing, ever expanding, ever changing purpose of this life, those desires are actually unconditional. They are not the physical fulfillment of them. They're simpler than that. So let's say being a healer. Being a healer is a condition. It is something that happens in the physical world after the energetic fulfillment of the desires that are beneath it. So why would someone want to be a healer? What is the benefit of having this occupation as a healer? Well, if we broke it down, a person who is a healer might say, I love connecting. I love connecting with the healing energy, and I love connecting with the person who's receiving the healing energy. So this connect, okay, great. So we've broken it down a little more deeply. And what does connection feel like? What is that? Why is that something that you love, that is fulfilling to you? What is the fulfillment of connection like? Well, it's belonging. It's the sense of magic. It's freedom, it's creativity, it's joy, it's transformation. It's it's that feeling of energy that is becoming. And all of those, those are the desires that are well beneath the occupation of healer. And there's more than that. What else is there? Well, I love the feeling of being able to bring the energy through. What does that feel like? That feels like living. That feels like health. It feels like expansion. I want to feel that expansion, and I want to feel that fulfillment and abundance. There's like an abundance to it. And then when I'm connecting with someone else, there's this sense of resonance, and there's this sense of like prosperity, because like the well-being that I get to feel, they get to feel, and then I get to help them to move forward. So there's more transformation. You see, those are the desires, and the fulfillment of it is something that you can experience. You not only can experience before the physical reality has even begun to be entertained, even before that, it must be. It must be fulfilled in the energy first. So if you're following along with me here, and you're feeling fulfillment and resonance and expansion and transformation, and all of that leads to a sense of abundance and grace and ease and wonder. Oh, it feels so amazing. And now that may start to form around it, still in the energy, something that is a picture of it, or, a representation of it. So let's imagine that maybe it's for one person being a mother. Maybe for another person, it's being a healer. And notice how we even say that, being a healer. It's being. Has to precede the outcome of it, which is healer, the occupation. So then you get this picture. And if you want to follow along and these states of being that we're talking about, if it creates a picture and you're like, oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? Yes. Now, as you have this picture filled out, basically you just pull out of it back into you more of how you feel fulfillment right now in this moment, more of how you're feeling connection in this moment, more of how you're feeling that expansion and the magic and the well-being and the prosperity. You pull out of that picture, so to speak, you let it come into you, and the picture might fade away, and then you're letting that expand even more, and then it's becoming, you're like, oh yeah, that picture again, and there's the picture again, and it feels good. Keep cycling it back. What we're doing is we're creating a loop of state of being. And in tech, this is called recursion. And then recursion is what we're doing when we're doing things that we don't prefer, when we're not manifesting. Because recursion is basically a looping around, where each time we loop around, we observe ourselves, ideally, and we learn from it. And then we loop again. Now, an unpleasant and a not non-preferred recursion loop is that we aren't really noticing what we learned. Maybe it's because we get stuck in frustration, and frustration is literally the energy of like pounding your head against a wall, right? Running a loop or a pattern, as we talk about a lot in our spiritual and personal development. A pattern that is unpleasant. That's what a recursion loop is. So we create positive recursion loops. We create positive loops where I have the state of being and I'm getting down into the roots, the root frequencies of the manifestation, because that comes first. You cannot grow a tree unless you have the soil first. You cannot grow a flower. You cannot drop a seed in unless you have the soil. And then you drop the seed in, and it has to all be fulfilled in the potential. Before anything bursts out of the ground, there has to be the ground and the seed planted. All before you, and then you pour water, which is a part of this looping. All of this is happening well before the soil gets pierced by the sprout of the flower or the tree, whichever one you prefer. So we're creating this loop. Now, here's what happens to us sometimes is we get interrupted by some of the conditions that we have been hyper-focused on, especially in the sense that of the not having. We get focused on scarcity and the conditions of not having. So we go, wait, to be a healer, does that mean I have to go back to school? And do I have the money for it? That is, these conditions are coming in, and they're not, when they're creating an interruption and they're not allowing the flow of the loop to go, then that is when we're getting into the specifics. We're putting the cart before the horse. We have the conditions before we have gotten into the fulfillment of the being state, the fulfillment of the energy of it. So it's perfectly normal. It's perfectly typical. It is what we do. It's just a thinking and a habit of how our energy is running. So we go, wait, do I have to go back to school to be a healer? Maybe that's too hard. How is the begging of conditions that don't exist yet. And what I say to my clients often is, how is none of our business? How is none of our business when we're in this creation of the fulfilled state of being for the manifestation? How is none of our business? Because we haven't fulfilled the state yet. When the state is fulfilled and we keep practicing it, then we can be the person who can align with the hows. And other people are sitting in their homes doing the same thing. And we can't even recognize each other. Or another way to think of it is, I imagine that way up on the galactic soul level, all the souls floating around up there, which are, dispatching down through the higher self and into the person plane. And finally, when I create the fulfilled state and I'm just basking in all of those things that eventually, they do connect to the picture of healer, but I'm taking it back into my state. And then finally, my soul says, oh, good, she's ready. Hey, Tricia's ready. She's ready to do the healer thing. Yeah. And then someone goes, oh, good, because I got John. John's ready too. And John really wants to help someone become a healer. And he has the resources for it. And then we can find each other, right? That's why how is none of our business. There are so many working pieces beyond our state. That's why state is our only business. State is our only work. And by the way, it is an act of self-love to dwell in the state of it because you're fulfilled. You're giving yourself the fulfillment of your desires, and you are the supreme creator, the sovereign one within your own being. This is how manifestation happens. Now, I know we've heard it a lot of times, but I got to tell you, we got to dig deeper to the deeper roots of our desires and leave the hows alone. How does Neville say it? Remind me, Spirit. Spirit says, oh, okay, that we have to get into the state of the thing and leave the things alone. That's how he says it. Leave the things alone. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but that's how Neville Goddard says it. Now, here is the part that we can get hung up on too. And so I'm gonna actually slate this so that we can see how we're transitioning to how do we actually hold the state? How do I keep my mind from interrupting with the hows? And we're asking how to fix a how. Okay, we're going to talk about that right now. So here we are. You understand that manifestation is holding the state of the wish fulfilled, as Neville Goddard says it, or holding the state of having it, activating your I am frequency about it, all before it is actually here. That is the part that we sometimes get hung up on because we're like, how is it possible? What if when I try to do this, other bad things happen? You know, it's never happened before. Why would it happen now? You see, that's how that's how we get hung up. We start to go into a different loop rather than the positive recursion loop of the positive thing that we want to feel and circulate as a state. Well, it is our imagination. And this is the other book from Neville Goddard that I recommend that you read, Awakened Imagination. And Neville Goddard quoting that faith is the evidence of faith is holding the state. I'm going to paraphrase it so that it'd be exactly how we want it. Faith is actually holding the state without the evidence of the thing being here. And Neville says, well, how is that possible? How can we stand in one position of the thing that we want when the thing that we want isn't here? How do we resolve that? And Neville says only an awakened imagination can do that. So you see, as we are imagining and feeling towards creating the felt sense of the state of the desire fulfilled, of the wish fulfilled, we're doing that with our imagination. The imagination of our feeling body. And when I say feeling, yes, it can be emotions, but it can also just be that resonance. We can give ourselves those spirit chills. You know, when there's some spiritual message that comes through, you get chills. You can give that you can give that state to yourself by feeling it toward you. Your felt sense is powerful, and it is magnetic. So this is why when we use then our imagination, when the picture or the event or the representation of the manifestation shows up, that is also using our imagination. And then we take the energy from that picture, event, or representation of it, and we bring it into our feeling sensor. We create the sensorial, the somatic imagination of it. So we have to give ourselves permission to use our awakened imagination, because guess what? When we are interrupting our positive looping of this is what I'm feeling, this is the state that I'm feeling, the wish fulfilled, this is what my manifestation feels like, this is what my desire feels like, this is what I love to feel, I love feeling this, and this is what I feel. When we have that, oh, but how will it happen? Oh, what if someone gets mad at me? Oh, it's never happened before. Why would I believe it would happen again? Guess what those things are? They're not here present right now either. They are imagination. That is imaginings that are coming in saying, I wonder if I have to limit this. That is an unawakened imagination. So we need to practice our awakened imagining. Your imagination is everything. What did you do as a little kid? You were imagining all the fun that was available to you. And now every now and again, a parent or life and all the things that made us grow up will come and interrupt it. And that's just what we're replaying when we're stopping our manifestation process with our own hows, with our own wonderings of how it could be, because I've never seen it happen before. And what if it's impossible? And what if I'm not strong enough? And what if I'm not worthy enough? It always only takes you. And here's where it gets really poignant, is that your desires, they are yours, as in the sense you are the steward of them. The reason that you have them is because the universe desires them through you. And when our desires are unfulfilled for ourselves, it is unfulfilled for the universe. Now, I say this because I know a lot of people who listen, watch this kind of content, love the world, love everyone, love this universe. And if I can leverage it a little bit, leverage your love of others and of the universe to say that your desires need you and the universe needs you to fulfill those desires. Only you can. Now, the reason you have these desires is because the universe has impressed them upon your heart, and only you can do it. Only you can manifest your desires through you precisely. You have already been chosen. You have already been called. Why? Because you exist. It is your existential right to manifest your desires, and it happens from the same place that they live right now, deep inside your heart, deep inside your energy, and they want to be expanded into the fullness of your heart, into the fullness of your energy. What that does in mechanical terms is it impresses it onto the energy field. It's like as you expand the fulfilled state of your desire, you expand. If you can look at the invisible realms, which I know you can, looking at the invisible realm, you are expanding. And as you do, as you're pressing this into the morphogenetic fields, which is what it's called, you're actually creating a container for it. You're creating a container for your desire to be fulfilled. And in the physical plane, because an energy abhors a vacuum, and you're creating a vacuum. You're creating a void that must be filled, that you are impressing. It's already on your heart, but the universe says you are our partner. You are our equal partner, so only you can impress this on the field. And guess what? When you do, it will happen in the physical plane, in the second stage of it, from the potential to the physically actual. It will happen in a way that is beyond your imagined of how, and all of the limited imaginings, all of the unawakened imaginings that you had. It will be that. And I mean, if you go like, oh, it looks like this picture, and that's your awakened imagination of it, the positive sense of it, it will be that and even better. And then when we go, oh, but how can my picture of it happen in our scarcity, unawakened imagination, it will be even better than what the nay that was said within you, the naysayer voice within you. And that is actually, let's take it back to another thing. And okay, we're going to go into a whole different thing now. We're going to talk about the template of your desires. So now we're going to segue now. And I may be cutting this up into other videos sometimes. So I'm going to say now, if you want to find out how to discover the template, the root frequencies of your desires, then you're going to want to watch this next part. Did you know that when you listen to your limiting beliefs or your fear about being able to move forward on a manifestation, every time you listen to a limiting belief or a limiting suggestion, you're taking advice from a little child. You're taking advice from a little child, a little frightened child, by the way, because it is your inner wounded child who asks these questions that provoke your limiting beliefs. So there's two things we can learn from our inner child. First of all, we can learn that our inner child has the blueprint for manifesting our desires, because the child that you are still in the quantum timeline, he or she is existing as a pure expression of your desires. He or she doesn't need to have physical children to be a mom because she has a baby doll, or she has a kitty, or she's talking to a tree. He or she doesn't need to be jumping out of airplanes, literally, because they can jump off the side of the wall with their little cape on that they made. He or she knows exactly how to manifest your desires. one of the things that my inner child, my little child, my who still exists, well, she loved to give speeches and sing songs and give dances so that she can help people to feel better. Look at what I'm doing right now. That's my intention, at least. Maybe, I'm trying to talk to a lot of people and get all of this energy up together, and then everyone can feel next to one another and feel wonderful. That's what I'm doing now. Another thing, interestingly, that I did was I actually, we have a tape recording of it still. I got a tape recorder for Christmas 1985. So I was 11 years old, 84. I was 10 years old. And I was walking around the house and interviewing my family. Like I do a podcast now. And I was wandering in the fields, and I was talking to animals, and I was playing with animals, and I was getting into the water, and I was having the most fun. And then you're creating these little fantasies and playing with them, and you can play with anything that is in your space, physically or non-physically. Your inner child knows how to fulfill the state of your desires. And so when someone or something of life that said, well, you can't just play in the yard all day long, came along and interrupted it, that is now interrupting it and telling the child, well, I'm not allowed to do that, so I can't have my desires. That's the other thing we learn from our inner child, is that he or she is the one who's saying, but wait, we're not allowed to have our desires. And so every time we are interrupting our own manifestation process with our hows, but that's not possible, or listening to our limiting beliefs, it is as if we're taking the advice of a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old. And as much as we would love to maybe model the 3 and 4-year-old self in her or his pursuit of our desires in the felt sense state, the execution of it is not something we want to take. A 4-year-old doesn't know how to do things in the world, so why would we take doing advice? That's what's literally happening when the how do we do that frequency comes in before the being is felt. We're actually starting to put, again, the cart before the horse, and we're taking the advice of the person that we are still in our energetic field, who doesn't have the healing yet, doesn't have the wisdom yet. And so we don't want to take doing advice from them. We do want to take being an example from him or her. But the doing, when we say, how do you do that, before we've actually fulfilled the being, that's taking advice from a child who's not equipped to do that yet. So this is what we can learn from our inner child. Again, she or he or they have the template for your desires. Feel her forward. Go into his frequency, and the joy and the creativity, and when they were able to just create anything in their energy state, to have the most joy. Imagine, how you've done this before. You go over to someone's house and the kid says, hey, do you want to see my room? Oh, that room that you go get to see. There's everything in there, all of the magic. And guess what? They don't have all of the things. It's the being that they get to experience while they're in their room. So this is what we create again for ourselves, is that sacred place to allow the fulfillment of your desires, the state desires, fulfilling them completely. So using your awakened imagination the way a child can say, I am a fairy queen, although it's all of that which you prefer to feel. And, in the wise way that you are in your world. And you know what Neville Goddard says? Is the feeling enough? Is it the assumption of the desired fulfilled within your state? Is it enough when it is unreasonable in the manifested, the physical world? And Neville says, if you hold it long enough, he has found that it is enough, that even when it's unreasonable, that the desires, as they are practiced, as they are held, as they are fulfilled as a state of being, they actually do override that which is in the physical world. So I guess what Neville's saying, I don't have this desire, which is, like if somehow my desire led to being an NBA player at 51 and 5'7" and a woman, but it's more like the desires, the root desires of it will create something that is a fulfillment of it First, it has to be fulfilled in the state, and then it gets fulfilled in the outer world, again, by the process of imprinting it through your expansion. That's how we're manifesting wrong. And when you do this, when you manifest correctly, which means doing the manifestation and the state first and the fulfillment of it, remembering that your desires are much simpler than things like the conditions of being a healer or even being a millionaire. Why do you want to be a millionaire? What is the feeling of it? Get down into that. The feeling of being a millionaire is freedom, is joy, is expression, is abundance, is connecting, is helping others. What does it feel like to help others? Oh, it feels like well-being and health. It feels like that I'm seeing transformation for myself, and it feels like magic. And that's what it all comes down to. And then go, oh, millionaire. Oh, yeah, millionaire. Oh, then I would get to go travel places. What does travel feel like? Travel feels like experiencing life. It feels like new, fresh, fun things. Fun, fun, fun. Yes? That's where we actually are able to use, you might even say hijack, the perception, what we assume are the manifested conditions, but we want to assume the desires. Your desires are much more expanded than the contraction of the conditions. The conditions are just gravy. It's not even the nutrition, but it's fun when those happen too. This is how to correctly manifest. All right, I'm going to check and see what's going on here. Oh, there's quite a lot of people here. Welcome, welcome. So if you have joined, I want to invite you to make a comment, say hello, ask a question. And while we're doing that, I want to share a couple of things with you. And that is that this Sunday, my animal communication and healing program is meeting live a full session of training. You have immediately, when you sign up, you have all of these modules immediately available to you to teach you how to telepathically communicate with animals. And boy, if you want to talk about fun, that is the most fun thing. Well, I don't know about you. It's the most fun thing I can do in my life. And it's the most fun thing that I've ever done in my life because they're funny, because they're magical, because all the ways that you might imagine that they are unconditionally loving and the way that they make you laugh, they intend it and you get evidence of it. And also the energy healing aspect of it, which is what we're diving deep into. So you get immediate access to the content, and then you can come to this Sunday's in-person, on Zoom, I should say, training. And then also you get to sign up for free for 3 months of the Sacred Sphere development class. It's a class, it's a community really. You get to receive readings, you get to practice readings. There's no pressure for when you practice readings, but all of this is available to you if you sign up. And I'm so excited to get together with the community this coming Sunday. And so check that out. And if you can't make it this Sunday, you get the replay. You also get all of the content that is already there. Tracy's going to be there. Tracy's saying hi. Tracy's going to be there in the animal communication class coming up this Sunday. And also I want to share one more thing with you, which is, oh my gosh, this is the most fun thing that I have been doing lately. And that is the Ascended Life Shop. My husband and I are making this apparel line. Look at this stuff. The universe has your back. For the Calm, a cropped hoodie that's so beautiful. We have all of these ones now that are the zodiac. So this one is the Aries one, and oh my gosh, they're so cool. My husband creates the design. So like this one, it has the constellation, the sacred glyph of Aries, and the flower. Did you know that there's a flower associated with your zodiac sign? There is. I know a lot of people didn't know that. And I actually also, I channel the messages. So, this is the one. Oh, I love this one. This is the one I'm holding up right now. It says Certified Lunatic. And that's for all of us who are, lunar goddesses, and we work with the moon energy. So check out the Ascended Life Shop. There are so many beautiful things here. I don't even know where to go next. So I just want to invite you. We are adding new products all the time. And really, it is more than just wearing something. I mean, I'm a 5 lion, I'm a 5-1 reflector. And so for me, when I put on something, the only reason I'm not wearing this now is because I get really heated while I'm, sometimes when I'm actually doing a live podcast. and they're soft. They're like more fashion forward. They're not just like junky, whatever hoodies. But when you put this on, you've put it on your heart for that day. And that's how I dress. I go to the closet and I'm just saying, how do I program my day? And so when you're wearing something like this, you put it right on your heart, and then sometimes you put it on your back. Some of them have it on the back so that it's like your angel wings are extending out behind you. And then you're spreading that love and you're spreading that inspiration. And it really does. I mean, this is the point of it. I sat in my session this morning for myself, and I channel into energy into all of this apparel, and I channel love and blessing, and I visualize it and I see it rippling out across the planet, heart to heart and smile to smile. And so it's a real passion work for us. Tracy, did you get it? Tracy says, I got certified yesterday. So Tracy has a certified lunatic sweatshirt, hoodie. Oh gosh, thanks for that, Tracy. Oh, Alana says, so what about positive fantasy like daydreams still can contain the house, so they're not a great starting place? All you have to do, Alana, thank you for asking. Great question. Okay, first of all, I want to say the first part of that is positive fantasy, daydreams. Yes, yes, yes. Play with those. Let those happen. And when the hows come up, just go like, that's okay, thank you. No, we don't go like, I hate the hows, Imagine again, the how is like little 4-year-old Alana coming and saying, but I don't know if you can do that because, we got interrupted in our playing yesterday. And just go like, I know, honey, that's okay. We're going to play right now anyway. So we're allowing ourselves to play. Keep the positive fantasies going. Keep the positive daydreams going. Let them become really detailed. Remember, you are playing. It's having fun. Anytime the hows go up, just go, that's okay. I imagine sometimes I just tag it and go, that's not important right now. It's like what that is another way to look at that, the hows that show up. It's the passenger mind, and this is human design. We have the driver and we have the passenger. The driver is actually in your identity center. It's your magnetic monopole. A monopole is half of a polarity. And the magnetic monopole in your identity center, which is your heart, it's love and direction. This is why we expand our love around within and all around the positive fantasies and the daydreams. We just keep loving it into color, loving it into something that feels alive for us. And as we're doing that, we're charging it up. So it's like your emotions and your feeling body actually tunes up your magnetic monopole. So think about love, which then eventually leads to direction. And as you're tuning it up, it becomes more magnetic. It becomes a very powerful magnet, like a nuclear magnet, so that it must draw you toward and to you that which will fulfill the polarity of your magnetic monopole. So then when the hows show up, we just go, that's fine, because that's the passenger. So this magnetic monopole, this feeling sense, this is the driver. This is your love, the love essence, the love alchemical body that you have. So imagine you're driving along, and the passenger can say, ooh, look at the pretty things out the window. And you go, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going. So that's a positive use of your driver. But then if you're trying to drive and the passenger was like, wait, let me help you drive. You'd be like, no, only one driver, right? So you just go, thank you. I don't need that right now. Just please relax. I would love for you to relax. So just tag those little hows, tag them and go, ooh, that'll be something fun that comes up later. I wonder, show me, universe. Show me how you're going to do it. When it's time to do it, I'm going to show you how I feel about it. And then the universe gets to show us as these things show up. Because then, here's the thing, then signs do start to show up because we've switched into the frequency. Do you know that signs follow you? Signs don't guide us. They actually follow us. And of course, that makes sense if you think about it. You couldn't even recognize a sign if you weren't already in the frequency of it, right? It would just be like a language you don't even speak. So then as we shift into it and we say yes to when a sign shows up, because it's a sign of your frequency, and we get more excited and we shift more into the frequency, and then we signal it louder, higher, more magnetically, and then more signs show up. So that's how we just notice it. Again, it's perfectly natural. It's not even natural. It's perfectly typical of humans for those hows to show up and try to interrupt our positive fantasies. We just tag them and say, oh, I get it. I'm going to get back into the positive feeling sense of it. Does that help, Alana? Thank you for asking. Alex says hi. Oh, Rocky is here too. Rocky says, thanks for doing this. Good to see you. Can you repeat the book names? Yes, absolutely. The books that I am recommending, and they're short books. They're short and potent. I think all of his books are. Neville Goddard, and so I'm going to write it here in the chat, Nevillegoddard. He is the author. And then the first one I am recommending is At Your Command. And then the second one is Awakened. Sorry, I want to make sure I don't misspell it. Awakened Imagination by Neville Goddard. At Your Command and Awakened Imagination. Yes, I spelled them right. I didn't typo anything in there. So they're in the chat comments right now. So if you're watching the video, it's not actually in the description underneath, but I might add it there. So maybe I'll just promise that I'll add it there too. So, yeah, very short, very potent, the kind of thing that you want to stop and like listen to again. That's what's going on there. Oh, I did Alana's already. And Alex says, hi. Hi, Alex. Thanks for being here. Hello, hello. And Tracy, yes, you did. You got your hoodie. That's amazing. So Alana says, thanks. I continue to yes, absolutely continue to daydream. And here's the other thing too, Spirit is wanting to say about it. When we're daydreaming and we're positively daydreaming, sometimes it can also bring up some grief about some ways that something happened differently. So there's two things. There's like the how, and then there's the doubt of like, well, it hasn't happened before, or maybe you're not worthy. You know what I mean? And those we can just notice and just let them pass by like a cloud. But if we start to, for example, feel, let's say if we're talking about just the frequency of a motherhood, and we go, this is what motherhood feels like. Underneath it, these are the desires. But maybe it dusts up, oh, this other time when I was moving in this desire and it feels like there's a loss. So you can also, it might dust up some grief. Hold space with it. And actually your positive daydreaming can give you the fulfillment of that which feels like it was lost. And I'll give you an example of it. Oh, that's right. And Aliel, I'm going to tell a story about Aliel's name, my bird. So my kitty Barnabas, who is the best person in the world, if you're ever wondering who the best person in the world is, he is a black kitty, and he passed away October 28th of 2024. And in my grieving process, which I'm still in, because I want to be with Barnabas. Now, his physical body is no longer the way that I experience him. But that was for 13 years how I experienced him. Also, it wasn't the only way that I experienced him, because when I was here at the studio and he was at home, he would come to me in a heart hug. I could feel him. I would, think about him, and oh, my Bubba, So it also wasn't limited to our physical relationship, even when he was physically expressed. So now I want to be with Barnabas, and I don't have the physical condition of the presence of Barnabas. So what I do is I sit in my daydreaming, my awakened imagination, and I call up his sweet little feet as they trot across the floor, because he had the most joyful feet I've ever seen in my whole life. He had to joyfully trot everywhere because there was just too much joy coming out of his little feet. And his feet were like tapered. They were really small feet. They were adorable. I would think of his tail. His tail was like really, like my cat Franzi, his tail's really soft and pliable. Barnabas had this really rigid tail. It felt like he had a coat hanger in there. And it would often be in the shape of a question mark. So if you watched him from behind, running away with his little joyful feet, and he's black, and you could see his little bum, his little starfish bum, and it was like pink and in the black fur, and then it had this black tail curved around. It looked like a little question mark. Or falling behind him. And he's like, "Where's more joy? Come this way." And I remember his meow. And I hold him in his, and then I can feel his little, like his astral form coming to me and sitting with me. And then I'll be imagining him, I'll be holding him in my state. And it's like I'll see in my mind's eye, in my felt sense, him making a gesture that, oh, it's not that I forgot about that, but I know I wasn't creating that. Like he's there co-creating it with me in his spirit. And so while I'm doing that, like right now, I'm feeling so much joy about it. But sometimes while I'm doing that, I start to cry a little bit. And then I'll imagine when he was sick. And I go ahead and let that come in, because that was valuable as well. That was a part of our relationship. It still is a part of our relationship. And so I let some tears move through me. I let some of that grief, but it's all a part of it. And as I do that, I can feel him more and more. And the whole purpose of our relationship is available to me. Everything that I learned from Barnabas is available to me. So this is what Spirit's saying, that if we're holding a state and a daydream, and then if we feel a little grief, a sense of loss, maybe it is because of something in the past, that's good. That's healing. So you can allow that to move through you too, and then get back to the fulfilling of your desires, which again are simpler than the conditions. So thank you, Rocky. My pleasure. Alana says, thanks. Yes, continue to daydream. Okay. All right. So the other thing I want to point out to you is that if you would like to go deeper into any of this and connecting with your intuition, I have several programs that will help you with that. First of all, if you want to head down that in the personal path for yourself, I recommend to you the Easy Intuition and Meditation program. The link is in the description. This is a 30-day journey with easy to digest lessons and meditations. It also gets you started on your human design experiment. It has that because being in your human design experiment is one of the fundamental ways to be able to actually be in touch with your intuition, because it teaches you of your authority, shows us our authority for our own life. And if you want to fall in love with meditation either again or for the first time, if you want to connect with that really high vibrational kind of learning, because I teach the lessons in a way that is actually really meditative, and it feels good just to be in the lessons. It's really affordable. And there are things like pay later payment options with Afterpay and Klarna. It's only $98, and you can, do the Afterpay or Klarna. Oh, actually, and I believe the link will also give you 7 days for free. And then if you want to continue, then you just stay signed up and you get to do the whole journey. It's not only 30 days, you have access to go over it for over a year. I think it's a year, maybe a little bit more. So you can go back and watch the lessons, continue to listen to the meditations, and continue to open yourself to your intuition easily. That's the idea there. So check that one out. And if you want to go even further and you want to step into your spiritual leadership, then I have my Quantum Resonance Intuitive Development Program. There's level 1 and level 2. You can sign up for 1, or you can sign up for 1 and 2. And we're currently in the live production of these. And also, there are already lessons that you can start to connect with now. Finally, I want to talk about Sacred Sphere. Tracy is a part of the Sacred Sphere community. She has some wonderful programs. Thank you. Oh, and the community. And I echo that because Tracy is a valued and high vibrational part of the community. Sacred Sphere it's a communal learning space where there's practice. We're learning about intuition, meaning for your own life. We're learning about manifestation and intuitive abilities. It is the practice space for these programs, whether you are wanting to, also I should mention the Akashic Record program, which is amazing and also really I think, really affordable for how much magic is packed into it. It is my channeled modality that anyone can do to tap into the Akashic records for yourself and for others. So check that one out. Those are all like, there's a link that says like all of my programs and then just other ways. But you can also just like, join my mailing list by getting the free animal communication program, not program, but the free animal intuitive program, which is in the description. And then or a free meditation. I think there's a higher self meditation linked below, and that joins the newsletter. And then you could actually, get a lot of other things going through that newsletter, and just ask me a question through that. So anyway, I'm rambling because I'm super excited about all of it. And I'm super excited about connecting with all of you and bringing this community into the world in a new and valuable way, because we need your new and your own unique value. So that's how you manifest correctly. And by the way, I want to tell you that when you do this, it starts to show up like this. And you have to continue to say yes to it. And why wouldn't you? It's so fun. Oh, one more thing. Aliel. Come here, baby girl. So this is my bird, Aliel. If you're just listening, you may have heard her singing the song, or you may have heard her doing a little tap dance on the microphone right now. I was just going to tell you a real quick story, just because I mentioned it, about Aliel. So she was born on February 15th, which is my husband's birthday. So there's already a really cool little alignment there. Actually, when I found her, the person who hatched her, I don't know, you call it like an aviist or whatever, she told me she was born on February 14th, or hatched on February 14th. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's close to my husband's birthday. And then when I was meeting Aliel, she was like, yeah, well, she was born on the 15th, and so blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait, was it the 14th or the 15th? And she goes, oh, I mean, I don't know. And I was like, oh, well, my husband's birthday is the 15th, so it'd be cool. She goes, yeah, she was born on the 15th. Like she was kind of fudging it to make it sound more romantic because it was Valentine's Day. And then she admitted it to me. But it was really cool because I didn't know that alignment until I actually was already falling in love with her. Huh, baby girl. She's yawning right here. So anyway, her name, and there's so many magical things that brought us together, and I'm just going to tell the story of her name. When I was early on in my awakening process, and I was reading a book on angels, and the author, I'm not going to say who the author was because there's going to be a part that's like not so empowering. And the author said, you can connect with your guardian angel. And I was like, okay, great. And so, I was meditating. I was actually already I had already been practicing animal communication. Not professionally yet, but so I knew how to like just tap in. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess, yeah. So I put down the book and I just, I just kind of like went into state. I just cleared my mind, went into state, and just said, what's the name of my angel? And I saw spelled in my mind's eye, I saw it spelled. And it's important that I saw it, because this makes sense over 10 years later. And it said Aliel. And it was like, allele. Huh. Oh, actually, I'm so sorry. I got the story wrong. Back up. Before allele came through, I was like, what's the name of my angel? And I heard Ariel. So I did hear Ariel. And I was like, Ariel? Like the Little Mermaid? That's so weird. And then I went and looked up Ariel, found out that is the name of an archangel. And one of the things that Ariel oversees is nature. And it even said in the thing that I read, works with animal communicators. And I had been practicing animal communication. That was like the first psychic gift that I opened. And I was blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually the name of an angel. And she actually, it makes so much sense for what I'm already doing. Well, I kept reading the book just a little bit, saw indeed that this author was like, oh, this is one of the archangels, Ariel, and was naming off all these other archangels. And also said, archangels are not your guardian angels. They are not. You cannot have an archangel as a guardian angel. And I was like, oh, well, I must have heard that wrong, because I asked for my guardian angel and I heard Ariel, which is hilarious that I limited myself that much, because I got these evidences that I didn't know about, but still I let this author tell me something different. Come here, little girl. Come here, Ali. Anyway, there's a cautionary tale about saying no to your, you know what I mean? Like what you know is your own manifestation frequency and your own evidences. So then I was like, okay, that I must have gotten that wrong. So what's the name of my angel? And that's when I saw spelled Aliel. So it's similar to Ariel. And I was like, allele, that's interesting. So I Googled allele and I found some old, like microfiche copied codex of like different kinds of spirits. And I found angel allele, like real small printing. And then it had it like all like these different like designations of what these different kinds of spirits were. And like the second or third column, it said Ariel spirit. And it was spelled Aeriel, like airborne. But I was like, I mean, you can't, it's like another evidence that it's Ariel. And so anyway, connecting with allele for years, for 10, 12 years at this point. So then when I adopted this little girl, I was like, what is her name? And my guides were kind of like, well, and I see it spelled again, allele. And I was like, that doesn't sound nice. I don't like the way that sounds. And they said, well, you're pronouncing it wrong. And I was like, Aliel. Oh, Aliel. It's like Ariel. But just like reading it, I just was pronouncing it wrong in my head. And they're like, it's not pronounced allele. Think of Ariel. And I'm like, Aliel. Oh my gosh, that's a pretty name. I like that one. Now, so that's her name. That's one of the ways. But then one other really interesting way. So I gave her the name Aliel. And then like a few days later, and I was thinking all along, I was like, oh, it's also like Ali. Ali is a part of her name. And I know that's a sacred name in Islam. I don't know what it is, but that's cool. And I kept like thinking about that. Oh, I need to look up what Ali means in Muslim. And so it was like a few days. And then I did. And I went and looked up Ali, and it means noble, which is really beautiful. But guess what also means noble? My birth name, Patricia. It also means noble. So, one more alignment that I love about Aliel is that my maiden name is actually Alley, Alley. It's not the same spelling, but El, the suffix that is used for angelic names, means of light. And so I thought, oh, that's kind of nice. It's like I'm infusing some light into my ancestry, even though I don't use that name anymore. It's still attached to me. So that's what her name is all about. Okay. Thank you for being here. That's the end of this episode. Be sure to please check out all the things that I have suggested to you. I would love to have you in the community. Tracy's here he would love to have you in the community. You could even drop into a sacred sphere sometime. Oh, there's also Modern Mystic, which is only $11 a month. Oh my gosh, so many things. So check out the links. And check out also the store if you would like to wear your vibe. That's what Ascended Life Store apparel is all about. It's about wearing your vibe. It is crafted to be able to hold your high vibration and to help you to expand it in all of these positive ways. Thank you so much for shining your light on our beautiful world. And thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.